It was a chilly Monday morning when Sarah hurried down the street with her baby girl, Emily, clutched against her chest. The wind bit through her thin coat, and her eyes stung, not just from the cold but from the weight of exhaustion. She hadn't slept more than 3 hours the night before. Emily had a fever. The babysitter had cancelled last minute, and Sarah had no choice but to bring her baby to work. The problem was, work wasn't a forgiving place. Sarah was a junior employee at a prestigious firm owned by one of the city's wealthiest men, Mr. Alexander Reed, a man known for his ruthless business strategies and cold demeanor. Rumors floated around the office that he had no tolerance for weakness, no patience for excuses, and certainly no sympathy for personal struggles. Sarah knew this. She knew she was taking a huge risk. Yet, when she looked at Emily's tiny face, she whispered, "We'll be okay, sweetheart. Mommy just needs to make it through today." The office was buzzing when she walked in, baby strapped to her chest in a soft carrier. Heads turned immediately. Whispered voices floated through the air like daggers. "Is she serious? Bringing a baby here? She's desperate, she's going to get fired. If Mr. Reed sees her, she's done." Sarah lowered her head, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. She took her seat in the far corner, hoping, praying, that no one would notice. Emily stirred, letting out a soft whimper. Sarah quickly rocked her, shushing gently, all while pretending to type furiously on her computer. But it didn't take long before trouble found her. "Miss Collins," her manager's sharp voice sliced through the room. "In my office, now." Her heart sank. She stepped inside, bouncing Emily nervously. Her manager glared. "You know the policy. This is a professional environment, not a daycare. What on earth were you thinking?" Sarah swallowed hard. "I had no choice. I couldn't find anyone to watch her, and I can't afford to miss work. Please, just for today." The manager's eyes narrowed. "If Mr. Reed sees this, it won't be me you'll have to answer to." As if on cue, the door swung open. Alexander Reed himself stood there, tall, intimidating, and expressionless. The room fell into silence. Sarah froze, gripping Emily tighter. "What's going on here?" His deep voice carried an authority that made everyone's stomach drop. Sarah turned slowly. Her lips trembled, but she forced herself to speak. "I'm sorry, sir. My babysitter canceled. I had no other option. Please, I just need today." The office staff held their breath. This was it. The moment Sarah's career ended. But what happened next shocked everyone. Alexander's gaze shifted, not at Sarah but at the baby. For a brief second something flickered in his eyes. A softness, a memory. Then, without a word, he stepped closer. The entire room tensed. Sarah braced herself, but instead of anger, Alexander gently reached out a hand. "May I?" he asked. Sarah hesitated, then nodded slowly. Carefully, he lifted Emily into his arms. The baby blinked up at him, then gave the smallest, sweetest smile. And for the first time, the employees of Reed Enterprises witnessed something they never thought possible. The feared billionaire smiled back. A heavy silence filled the air. Then Alexander said words no one would forget. "She stays, both of them." The manager's mouth fell open. "Sir, with all due respect, this is highly unprofessional." Alexander cut him off with a look. "Unprofessional, or human? Maybe this company could use a little humanity." From that day forward, everything changed. Sarah was allowed to keep Emily nearby in a small, converted office space. But more than that, Alexander began checking in. At first it was subtle, asking if Sarah needed anything, ensuring Emily had warm blankets, arranging flexible hours. But then it became something deeper. He started visiting regularly, sometimes holding the baby during meetings, sometimes bringing toys or soft lullabies that played quietly in the background. People whispered, why was the most powerful man in the building showing such compassion to a low-level employee? The truth slowly unraveled. Alexander had once been a father himself. Years ago, he'd lost his wife and child in a tragic accident. Since then, he'd buried himself in work, building walls around his heart. Seeing Sarah with Emily cracked those walls in ways he hadn't thought possible. But Sarah had her challenges too. Despite Alexander's kindness, she still faced coworkers' judgment, long nights balancing motherhood and work, and the constant fear that she wasn't good enough. Bills piled up. Her old apartment leaked every time it rained. Some days she wanted to give up. Yet, every time she looked at Emily, she found strength. And, unexpectedly, she found support in the one man she thought least likely to give it. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, Sarah stayed late to finish a report. Emily fussed, restless in her crib. Alexander appeared at the doorway. You should go home, he said. I can't, Sarah sighed. If I don't finish this, I'll fall behind. I can't afford to lose this job. Alexander walked in, picked up Emily and cradled her gently. You won't lose your job, Sarah. Not while I'm here. Tears welled in her eyes. Why are you helping me? He looked down at the baby, his voice softer than she'd ever heard. Because once, I wished someone had helped me, but no one did. From that moment their bond deepened, not as boss and employee, but as two broken souls helping each other heal. Months passed. The company culture shifted. Inspired by Alexander's unexpected change of heart, new policies were introduced, flexible schedules for parents, childcare support, and a workplace that valued people, not just profits. What began as one woman's desperate decision became a revolution in compassion. But the most beautiful transformation was within Alexander himself. Emily's laughter filled the office, warming places that had long been cold. For the first time in years, Alexander wasn't just building a business. He was rebuilding his heart. By the end of the year, Sarah stood in front of her colleagues, holding Emily in her arms, tears streaming down her face as she thanked them for their support. And when Alexander stepped beside her, placing a protective hand on her shoulder, everyone in that room knew this wasn't just about a job anymore. This was about family. And sometimes, family is found in the most unexpected places. So the next time you see someone struggling, remember this story. A humble employee brought her baby to work, and a millionaire chose kindness over coldness. That single choice didn't just change one life, it changed many. Because kindness is powerful, it heals and inspires, and it transforms. Call to action for YouTube ending, and that's the story of how one humble woman's courage and a millionaire's compassion left an entire office speechless. What do you think? Should more workplaces open their hearts like this? Share your thoughts in the comments below.